7 more individuals have been detected with the novel coronavirus in Nepalganj, taking the number of reported cases in the country to 82. This calls for even more vigilance and precautionary measures in the region on the part of the concerned authority. Meanwhile, countries and donors have pledged more than $8 billion to help develop a coronavirus vaccine and fund research into the diagnosis and treatment of the disease. Good morning, I am Bipashna Tamang and these are the headlines of the hour. 7 more coronavirus cases confirmed in Nepalganj. Government criticized for not being able to expand the parameters of testing despite the number of coronavirus cases reaching 82. Administrative center desolated as officials stay at home despite the need of the hour. Experts call on officials to do their duties as the national economy reels under the COVID-19 pandemic. Some 40 countries and donors pledged more than $8 billion to help develop a coronavirus vaccine and fund research into the diagnosis and treatment. And Cristiano Ronaldo leaves Madeira to return to Italy with his family after nearly 2 months on his native island. Seven more individuals in Bake, Nepalganj have been detected with the novel coronavirus, taking the total number of cases in the country to 82. The number of coronavirus cases in Nepalganj alone has climbed to 23. Meanwhile, speaking at the daily press conference yesterday afternoon, spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Dr. Vikas Devkota, informed 59 individuals are receiving treatment at various hospitals across the country. 21,523 individuals are in quarantine at the moment and 106 people are in isolation, with 1 person in the capital and the rest outside. The government has been criticized for not being able to expand the parameters of testing despite the number of coronavirus cases reaching 82. Likewise, spokesperson Dr. Devkota also informed that the disinfectant that is being widely used over people's body in public places at the moment would do more harm than good. Meanwhile, restrictions order has been imposed in Bake's Nepalganj sub-metropolis since yesterday noon in a bid to contain the increase in coronavirus cases in the region recently. The restriction order will be in place until 11 p.m. this Thursday. Almost all these sectors have been struggling due to the lockdown imposed in the country to control the spread of coronavirus. Meanwhile, public officials that can play a key role in controlling the impact through relevant programs and policies have been staying at home. The administrative center has been inactive since the lockdown. We have a report.
The Central Bureau of Statistics, CBS, has estimated Nepal's economic growth this year will be limited to 2.2%. The government at this juncture faces a big question: how to save the economy. The government's task is challenging as it has to introduce programs that would help control the economic impact of coronavirus and normalize daily lives. The situation calls for all government units to work more than in normal times. However, the administrative hub, Singhadarbar, is almost vacant at the moment. Majority of the ministries that have a key role to play at the moment is empty, while officials are enjoying their salaries while staying at home. Several of those who attend to their duties also leave after a few hours.
बजेटमा के कस्ता कुराहरुमा प्राथमिकता पर्नुपर्छ, कार्यक्रमहरु आउनुपर्छ, बजेट विनियोजन हुनुपर्छ भन्ने कुराहरु पनि हाम्रो तर्फको प्रस्तावहरु राखेका छौं। त्यसमा मूलभूत कुरा चाहिँ कसरी लगानी चाँडो बढाउन सकिन्छ, लगानी बढाउन सकिन्छ ताकि रिकभरी हाम्रो चाहिँ जुन अहिले क्षति पुगेको छ त्यसको रिकभरी चाहिँ चाँडो हुन सक्छ भन्ने त्यो पाटबाट हेरेका छौं र सँगसँगै कसरी औद्योगिक पूर्वाधारहरूलाई अलि जोड दिन सकिन्छ त्यो कुरालाई पनि हामीले अगाडि सारेका छौं.
Almost all productive and service sectors have been closed since the lockdown. The lockdown has affected every individual, starting from a general farmer to big industrialists. Investments are at nil and the government is struggling to collect revenue. However, officials at all concerned ministries are indifferent. The only ministry that seems to be doing its legwork at the moment is the Finance Ministry, and that too is because the new budget should be announced by the end of May. However, introducing a budget is not going to be enough, as the budget will need complementary programs and policies, especially as the times are trying. Among many of the challenges that the government faces, managing food and labor supply is one. The situation calls for all public officials to put in extra effort to minimize the impact. However, the lockdown has been like a holiday for most.
सिंहदरबारमा अहिले जुन रूपमा काम हुनुपर्ने थियो यो बन्दाबन्दीमा भएको छैन, तर पनि अर्थ मन्त्रालय, राष्ट्रिय योजना आयोग जस्ता निकायहरू जसले आगामी वर्षको बजेट तर्जुमा गर्नुपर्ने छ र यो अहिलेको समस्यालाई सम्बोधन गर्न अगाडि बढ्नुपर्ने छ। विषयगत मन्त्रालयहरू धेरै सुनसान छन्। यो अवस्थामा विषयगत मन्त्रालयको दुईटा काम हुन्छ, एउटा नीति निर्माणमा सहयोग पुर्याउने, सघाउने र आफूले नीति निर्माण गर्ने, अर्को चाहिँ आफ्ना मातहतका कार्यालयहरूलाई परिचालन गर्ने। यो सुस्ताएको अर्थतन्त्रलाई, सम्पूर्ण सुस्ताएको आर्थिक क्षेत्र, सामाजिक क्षेत्र, सम्पूर्णलाई यो मानव विकासको क्षेत्र, हाम्रो शिक्षा स्वास्थ्य मा पनि हामी समस्यामा देखिएका छौँ। स्वास्थ्यमा लगानी बढाउनु पर्ने, पूर्वाधार तयार गर्नुपर्ने अवस्था छ।
Experts say the current pandemic is a call for the government to work better in coming days to direct the nation to prosperity. However, in order to make such a difference, the administrative center, Singhdarbar, needs to come into full operation.
Welcome back. Industries and commercial sectors worldwide have faced a huge economic impact due to the coronavirus pandemic. As employers have stopped their work, millions across the world are out of jobs, resulting in more poverty. Back home, the National Planning Commission has commenced a study to predict the degree of poverty in the country resulted by the pandemic. Economists have warned the pandemic will cause damage to the normal lives of the people to a great extent. We have a report.
Majority of the daily wage workers across the country are out of jobs as construction works have come to a standstill. Jobs of around 1.5 million workers in the hospitality and tourism sectors are also at risk. Other sectors have also begun facing the brunt of the coronavirus pandemic. A week back, the Central Bureau of Statistics under the National Planning Commission estimated Nepal's economic growth in the ongoing fiscal year will be limited to 2.27%. This declined economic growth, experts say, will affect the low-income population the most, and that there are high chances that families that have managed to upgrade their economic status will be pushed back to poverty. Economists say the coronavirus pandemic will cause a significantly greater economic impact compared to the earthquake back in 2015.
बढ्नु त बढ्ने भयो किनभने धेरै मान्छेहरुको स्यालेरी नै कट हुने भयो हैन ज्यालादारीमा काम गर्ने मान्छेहरुको स्यालेरी आउँदैन विदेशमा काम गर्न जानेहरु पनि कम स्यालेरीमा काम गर्नेहरु नै पनि असरमा पर्लान् जस्तो देखियो हैन पोजिटिभ इम्प्याक्ट पर्ने ठाउँ कम भयो हैन तर नेगेटिभ इम्प्याक्ट पर्ने ठाउँहरु धेरै भयो पोजिटिभ केही ठाउँमा पर्ला ग्रोसरी स्टोरहरुले पनि वास्तवमा जस्तो विदेशतिर चाहिँ केही यो होम डेलिभरीहरुमा वाटुटे मान्छेहरु हायर गरेका थिए हैन तर यहाँ त्यो पनि देखिया छैन के
Based on government data, 18% of Nepal's population is under the poverty line. The government, in its ongoing 15th year plan, had intended to bring down the rate to 10%. However, it is highly likely that the government's aim will not be met due to coronavirus pandemic. The United Nations estimates around 500 million people around the world will fall under the poverty line due to the pandemic. Nepal has yet to come up with a specific number. However, the National Planning Commission has begun a study to determine the impact of the pandemic on the economic status of Nepalese people. The Nepal government considers anyone with an annual income of less than 124,000 rupees as under the poverty line. In the Nepalese fiscal year 2072-73, 21.6% of the populations were under the poverty line. Around 4 million migrant workers who were employed in India and Gulf nations have been affected by the pandemic at the current time. Experts say this will contribute in the declining Nepal's economic status in the coming days. There is a call for the government to formulate programs and policies that mobilizes the unemployed population in productive sectors to avoid an unfortunate situations in the days to come.
Although the government has directed all the industries to provide its workers salaries for the Nepalese month of Chaitra, a study has shown that only about a third of the production-oriented industries have provided full salaries to their workers, while a few have provided partial salaries, and almost 40% of the industries have not provided salaries at all. Most of the private and government-owned industries are currently shut down due to the coronavirus outbreak. However, some industries have been partially open. A government study has shown that 49% of the food industries and 64% of the oil industries in the country have been operating despite the lockdown. The government has given the directive to provide full salary for the Nepalese month of Chaitra to laborers working at government-owned industries. However, most industries have not abided by the government directive and have not provided full salaries to their workers. According to a study carried out on 219 production-oriented industries by General Federation of Nepalese Trade Unions or GFund, it has been found that 39% of the industries have not provided salaries to their workers. Meanwhile, 22% of the industries have provided advance salaries, citing that they would provide full salaries if they receive government grants. Likewise, 30% of the production-oriented industries have provided full salaries to their workers. Only 9% of the industries have provided partial salaries to their employees, while 39% of the industries have not provided salaries at all. According to the 14-day study carried out by GFund, 60% of the industries in the country are shut down, while 15% are partially open and 24% are in full operation. Johalan Purwa in Nepalganj is high on alert these days as the number of COVID-19 cases rose in the region in recent time. The local administration sealed Johalan Purwa in an effort to contain the further spread after 16 individuals tested positive for coronavirus this week. However, movements have remained the same. This has raised the chances of the spread within the region, if not outside. We have a report.
Johalanpur in Nepalganj has been sealed since Sunday after 16 new cases of coronavirus emerged in the region. There are over 80 households in the region and there are high chances that the virus might spread further and infect more people.
एकदमै सतर्क हुनुपर्ने ठाउँमा अब प्रशासनले हो कि स्थानीय निकायले हो कि सरकारले हो त्यो एकदम जिरो छ। अहिले तपाई क्यामेरा घुमाउनुहुन्छ भने कहीं पनि केही सुरक्षा निकायका मान्छेहरु देखिएको छैन। त्यसकारणले यस्ता कुरालाई विशेष ध्यान दिनुपर्ने र खास गरी एकजना मान्छेबाट यो सम्पर्कमा आएका मान्छेहरुको देखिएको छ। त्यो त्यसकारणले यो त पुरा टोल जुन पनि 70-80 घरवटा छ अथवा 80-90 वटा घर छ त्यो पुरै मान्छेको अब चेक गराउने स्थिति मैले देखेको छु। यदि यसलाई कन्ट्रोल गरिएन भने अझै यो भयावह हुन सक्छ, यो अझै कल्पना भन्दा बाहिर पनि जान सक्छ। मैले स्थिति देखेको त्यस्तो छ।
Johalanpur is an old community in Nepalganj sub-metropolis surrounded by Mahendra Park in the west and markets in the north and the east. On the third day that the local administration sealed nearby communities, a large number of people were still out and about. People were still flocking out to buy vegetables brought in vehicles from India. Several locals who had come in contact with the infected individuals have reportedly moved to other localities. Furthermore, some have refused to stay in quarantine and isolation, adding to the challenge of containing the virus.
यहाँका जनताले स्वेच्छाले आफै चाहिँ स्वाब टेस्ट गराइराख्नु भएको छ। उहाँहरु आफै जागरुक भएर लागि पर्नुपर्छ, सानो बच्चादेखि लिएर ठूलो मान्छेसम्म। अब वहाँ सबैलाई चाहिँ अनावश्यक लगेर चाहिँ नगरपालिकाले बनाएको क्वारेन्टाइनमा राख्नु यो कुरा चाहिँ जायज होइन।
Border regions shared with India had been on high alert after hundreds of Muslims that had attended a congregation in Nizamuddin in the Indian capital New Delhi tested positive for coronavirus. The Nepal government's delayed response and slow contact tracing process resulted in a few cases in mosques in Udaipur district. The government had begun contact tracing in Nepalganj, however the process has not moved at a desired pace. Likewise, the identification of potential COVID-19 cases and sample testing have been sluggish as well. The negligences have turned Nepalganj into a hotbed for coronavirus at the moment.
And time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. What's your take on providing government employees leave at a time of national crisis? Your options are option A, lack of responsibility, option B, weak sense of the crisis, and option C, option 2, reduce crowds. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your options A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay safe.